everybody, and welcome to the Greenland Quilter channel. And this is our once a month mental health live that we do every month. This is the 7th month. Can you believe that, Danny?
I can't. I really can't. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I don't even know where the heck the time is going. Look like we just started October a day ago, and here we are 3 weeks in.
Right? Like I was like, what happened to May? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
I keep asking that question. Where did May go? Because I feel like we just skipped it.
It sure seems like we have, because I don't even know. I mean, just thinking about Christmas is like, I don't even want to think about it.
No.
But
That's
we're
a
also
four-letter
only,
word.
let's see, we're 3rd week in October, so we have November, December. So me and Nikolai's 15th wedding anniversary is 2 months and so many days away from our 15th wedding anniversary. Isn't that crazy?
Wow. That's awesome. Congrats to you
Yeah,
guys.
thank you. I don't even know how we got to 15, but we have. It's a big milestone. Well, as far as I'm concerned, it's a milestone anyway. So, yeah. Let me say hi to everyone in the chat. We're waiting on Myra. Myra was here and but she
She
disappeared.
was, yeah.
She's having internet issues. So while we're waiting on her, let me say hi to those who have shown up in the chat already. There she is. Hello, Robin Marie. Welcome, welcome. Hi, Nancy. Hey, Denise. And I think that's all I see in here at the moment. Oh, hi, Jaja. Welcome, welcome. Hello, Geraldine. Welcome. So they're sliding in right now, and Myra's trying to get on. There you go. Are you
There
at
she
home?
is.
Hey, welcome back, sweetie. Are you in Panama City or are you at home?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, she's froze again. Anyway, while we're waiting on her internet to fix, Danny, what have you been doing since the last time we got together? What's been up in your neck of the woods going on while we're
Oh
waiting on
Lord.
Myra?
Yeah. Well, I went apple picking with the family. Then I think that's it.
Just apple picking?
Very
Nothing?
boring life lately.
Oh yeah.
It's been rather uneventful, honestly. No, we went apple picking with the family. I made some applesauce a couple weekends ago. Um, yeah, we really haven't done a whole lot. It's been kind of boring here. I know that sounds weird, but sometimes it's nice to be boring. Sometimes it's comforting to just be boring.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel
What
like
about you,
too much
Myra?
excitement, it makes things a little crazy.
Yeah. It's like the little pause before all the chaos starts again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
And what about you, Myra?
What about me? I'm sorry, I
What
missed
you
the
been
beginning.
doing for the past month since the last time we got together?
Wow. Was my mom in residential senior living then? Okay, so yeah, visiting my mom, traveling back to my physical home, sleeping in the camper with my husband.
Oh,
Oh, she's frozen again. Hi, Lainey. Hello, Raven. Welcome, welcome.
got some connection issues, I think.
I think so. Something's wrong with her internet. Strange. She usually doesn't have trouble with her internet. Hmm. Okay. So while we're waiting on Myra's internet to fix itself, um, if you have any questions in your Asa, oh my God. If you guys have any questions you would like to ask in the chat, for us to talk as a subject, Make sure you post your questions. Put a heart in front of your question. Or if you want to comment on something that came to mind that you wanted to share with us, because this is what this is for. We'll be talking about mental health and sharing tips and tricks and talking about tonight's subject, which Danny's going to start with, and then we'll chime in as we go along with the discussion. So please, if you have a question or if you need to talk about something because you're having a bad day or you've had a bad month like I've had, you know, this is a safe place to have that discussion. So make sure to feel free to open up and discuss whatever you want to do because it's a safe place. I can see Myra's here, but no video. Okay, Danny, why don't you go ahead and start the subject, and then when Myra figures out what's going on, she can hop in and put in her input.
Sure. Give me just a second here. My headset just decided it wanted to die.
Yeah, and my phone needs plugging in. Asa.
What?
This needs to be charged. It's dead. Or it's about to.
Fun stuff. We're having a great time today with technology.
Not right now, babe. Maybe in a little bit. Myra's kind of stuck with something with her internet. Katie, is your pain level any better? Last night, I didn't think it was. I mean, it's better than when it hospitalized me. I mean, anything's better than that.
Do you need to record?
No, because I'm not going to use the camera. So here's where I am on my pain. When Nikolai had to take me to the hospital, it was so bad, and it was one big mass of pain on the whole right side, just below my rib cage, across my hip, into the pelvic area, and into the spine. Now I'm still having pain down in the lower part of my rib cage in the flank area, but I'm beginning to think it might be tied to what's going on in my hip. The pain seems to be more centralized around my hip, and when I lift up my leg, my right leg, there's pain. So I'm wondering if it could be tied to my spine, but it also could be tied to something going on with my hip. I don't know. So today I've had one Tradolin so far. Yesterday I had 3 because the pain levels were up yesterday. So I'm just riding the wave until I see the doctor on Thursday so that we can discuss what you know what they're going to do, along with I don't see me going to nuke before winter starts because the weather here in Greenland becomes very volatile and Mother Nature gets really angry, so to speak. That's what I call it. So flying sometimes becomes impossible to get into nuke because that's where all of the scanning equipment is in nuke. And that would require me to go to nuke, and I don't know if they can schedule me to go to nuke right now, especially with them being short of staff and stuff. So I don't know. I will know more about what they plan on doing when I see the doctor on Thursday. That's about the best answer. So if my pain's up and down, it seems like if I spend too long sitting in the chair, a lot of you were on my live last night, you saw me standing a lot. I was standing a lot because I was in pain, and because the chair just was aggravating it for some weird reason. And there's nothing wrong with this chair. This chair is not uncomfortable. I just think it's something to do with where the pain is located and how it's running across. It's running down the leg, but also across my pelvic area. So I can't even articulate it exactly. So I'm just taking it one day at a time. I've had to, Nikolai's had to help me a little bit on and off with like putting pants on because when I go to lift my leg, that hurts. So go figure. So if I had to tell you where I am from a 1 to 10 right now, I'm sitting at around an 8. So
8's pretty good.
Yep, 8's better than a 10, that's for sure. Hey Joe, welcome, welcome. Hey Robin, let me see here. Katie, yep, I already answered that question. Hello Melissa, welcome. Let me see here. Melissa wants to know what you're working on, Danny. Hello,
I
Felicia.
am working. I'm sorry,
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I am working on a cross stitch project that I've been working on for the last couple of years now, on and off. I did some sewing on my live stream this morning, and it wasn't in me this afternoon, so I switched to something different to hopefully kind of keep the creative juices flowing. So I'm working on that. It's a Cinderella and her cast in front of the castle. It's a whole Thomas Kincaid. It's huge. I'm got like this much done.
Okay, so let me see. Hi, Laura. Welcome. Let me see here. Lainey says with her lower back right middle above her bottom, very painful and don't sleep well anymore. Now, the last 4 or 5 days, I have once we get my pain a little more, I don't even know what to call it because it just depends on how I lay. I'm a right side sleeper and all my pain's on my right side.
Which makes sense because that's the side you use the most.
Yeah, because the reason I don't sleep on my left side is because of the nerve pain and stuff that's on that side. So I've always slept on my right side, and now I have all this pain on that side. So it's making me figure out how to get in the right position because I sleep with a pillow between my legs already. And I can't sleep on my back because I can't breathe laying on my back. So I've been trying to navigate that issue, and I finally figure out if I can get in the right position and we have my pain under control, enough for me to fall asleep. And I've been sleeping, and Nikolai said that when like earlier today, he got out of bed and I never even felt him get up. And he done that because he said I was sleeping so peaceful, he didn't have the heart to wake me up. He left me alone. And I slept till, I think, was it 1 o'clock or something, honey? It was,
Oh
I
my.
think it was 1 o'clock this afternoon that I was still asleep. And
It's good though. Your
yeah,
body needs the rest.
so I'm getting like 3 to 4 hours uninterrupted sleep, which is better than what I was getting before. I wasn't getting any. I mean, I would sleep 30 minutes and then I'd be awake again because the pain kept waking me up. But the pain is what's waking me up even after 4 hours. It's not anything else waking me up. It's definitely pain that's waking me up. So, but I am sleeping, so that's better than what I was getting last week. So anyway, yeah. All right. Lainey says it feels like she has rocks in her back on a bed topper. She needs a bed topper.
Ouch.
Katie, can you sleep in a recliner or a reclined position? Now, when I was in the hospital, I was able to fix the bed at a certain position where it was at a slight angle, like maybe this angle, so that when I laid on my side, it wasn't so painful. But we can't sit my bed that way, so, or our bed. But the hospital bed, it worked. I'm like, dang, I wish I had one like that. So when we don't have a recliner in this house, so can't sleep in a recliner. So I don't know. Y'all just keep sending prayers. Eventually it will get better. It will have to. It's not going to stay like this forever, I don't think. All right. So here's what we're going to talk about. Danny's going to start the subject, and then while she's talking about what the subject's going to be, I want y'all to give some thought to what she's going to talk about too. She says, Lainey says she has to lift herself up when she sleeps. Yeah, I haven't figured out how to do that and have a pillow between my legs. She says a lot of pillows could work, says Raven. Yes, this is true. I might have to try that and see if I can't try some other way. Okay, Danny, go ahead and start the subject. Make sure you guys are, if you have something you want to add to this discussion, please do. If you want to ask questions, do that. Or if you want to have a discussion outside of what we talk about, let's do that too. So let's get started. Go ahead, Danny.
Yeah, I mean, it was just more of an observation, more so than a discussion, I think. But I was telling Katie had asked me how I was doing because we've been talking about her stuff, and that's, rightfully so. She's been going through a lot lately. And so she asked me kind of how I was doing. And I was telling her about how it seems like for me, this time of the year, I suffer from a severe lack of motivation. And I don't just mean motivation like to come in my sewing room and sew, but just a motivation just in general. Just, you know, just, everyday activities just absolutely sound exhausting. Just to think about doing them sounds exhausting. And then I basically talk myself out of them most of the time. And I think we all I would hope that we all kind of go through this, and I'm just kind of curious if other people are going through that, and kind of what are some of the things that they're doing to work themselves through it. It seems like this happens for me once or twice a year, usually when the seasons change. So it's possible that maybe there's something connected to that. And I understand, knowing enough about my own mental health and having been with doctors and things like that, I understand that it's usually a chemical imbalance. There's usually a hormone imbalance that's happening. And it's, maybe, Katie said that maybe it's because, we're entering the fall season, and maybe it's because, the sun isn't out as much, or the sun goes down sooner. Maybe I'm lacking vitamin D. I'm not sure. Could be any number of things. But I'm just kind of curious if anybody else is kind of feeling that same blah. It's really just kind of what I'm feeling. I told Katie earlier that I kind of felt like I was in a little bit of a funk. Just kind of, I need to get out of my own head and out of my own whatever this is and work through it. And I usually do pretty well. I don't see why I won't this time either. But since this is an open conversation and we're here to talk about things like that and share things that do and don't work amongst each other, amongst this group of friends here, I thought it might be something good that we could chat about and see if there's maybe some tricks or tips that you guys have that you guys do that help you when you're in this type of a situation that might help me.
Yeah. So I put a poll up and I put how many of you feel like you have a drop off of energy or fall into a funk this time of the year. And right now there's so far 8 votes, and I'm sure it'll fluctuate some more as people come in. Right now, 75% say yes.
Wow.
So
Well, that's good. I'm glad to feel it's always good to know. I mean, and I know this already, but when you're, and I'm sure that you guys can relate to this too, when you're on your own situation, when you're in your own head, you always feel like you're the only one. And I know that I'm not. I know that. But that doesn't mean that I don't still feel that way. So it's good to know that I'm not the only one. It's reassuring to hear that I'm not the only one, and that we're all kind of going through this weird thing. Some people have said that, hey, maybe it's because the holidays are coming up. The holidays have never really been an issue for me in the past. Maybe they are now. I don't really feel any anxiety or stress or anything when anyone talks about the holidays. So I don't think that it's that, because usually that's how you can kind of identify if that's usually if there's a subject that's causing the feelings that you're having, you can usually identify that pretty quickly just by like starting to talk about it and kind of feeling what your own body and what your own mind is doing when you're talking about that subject. So I don't feel like that's it. I mean, it very well could be that, but I don't think that that's it. I don't know that it is situational based. I think it might just be kind of environmentally based, and that's why I'm kind of a little sad that we couldn't get Myra working, because I would have really liked to have talked to her.
Yeah, hopefully she'll be back. I hope so.
Yeah, hopefully. I really would have liked to kind of pick her brain a little bit about, from a professional standpoint, is there such a thing as seasonal funk?
I know that there's seasonal depression
I don't want to say it's depression, because I don't necessarily know that I'm quite there yet.
Yeah.
But I can definitely feel myself sliding down that slope. And so
Yeah.
we all
Yeah.
know our own selves, we all know our own bodies, we all know our own minds. And so I think for the most part, we can pretty much tell, at least if you're like me and you go through these roller coasters of emotions throughout the year, that you can kind of tell when you're on this high slope, and then when you're starting to kind of come down. That's kind of where I'm at, is I'm starting to come down a little bit. I'm definitely not at the bottom for
Yeah.
sure. But I mean, I would have. It would have been nice to ask her that a little bit. But I mean, obviously she's having issues, so maybe she can hop in the chat
Hopefully
later.
she'll make it back. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I don't know if she's in. I don't know that she's in the chat either. So there must be something going on. Joe says, it's a real thing about seasons. Season changes affect many people this time of the year. The sun is lacking. And then Lainey says, complicated grief during holiday season, especially Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. They told me I have complicated grief. I was never really truly over it. Felicia says,
Okay.
I'm feeling that same way too, Danny. And then she says, Lainey also says, tuning into you guys and sewing and getting into groups that sew and crochet helps me as long as it's live, looking to put a live group up myself in YouTube. Then Laura says, I've been struggling to get back to her sewing again between health issues and then the flooding in her. Yeah, she just had flooding too.
Well, she told me about that in her live stream this morning.
Arizona got
that.
that hurricane stuff, and I didn't realize that she had flooding in her sewing room until yesterday, which just compounding things for her. So y'all keep Laura in your prayers because she sure needs it. She says it's difficult to decide where to start, and I want to talk about that in a bit. Jaja says, I feel like I am more productive in the gloomy season because I will try and do everything I need to do before it gets dark. As in the summer, I don't want to go outside in the heat. Yeah, there's that. And then Raven says, struggle with holidays. My nephew took his life in June of 2023 at 18 years old, and he would have been 21 next month. My son and I struggle with him being gone.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
And then Denise says seasonal affective disorder, SAD. And then Laura says, Raven, I'm so very sorry for your loss. Yep. And Raven says they were raised very close when they were little. My sister was in and out of jail a lot. So getting a collect call to make Christmas appear for him the week prior was normal. And then Felicia says, I deal with depression. Nancy saying she's sorry, Raven, so prayers for her. And hello, pescatarian gardener. She says seasonal depression is common during this time. It's something many people experience.
Okay.
And yeah, and Myra's trying to come back. I've been diagnosed with seasonal depression, but normally mine doesn't happen until January.
Mine is usually around the fall, which is, it's funny for me because if you guys are members of my channel, then you'll know that the fall is my favorite time of the year. Like, it's my absolute favorite time of the year. I love the seasons changing. I love the cool, crisp air. I love the changing of the colors and the smells that you feel. And it's just that all of it is just so much fun to me, and I truly enjoy it. So that's why it's kind of almost a little disheartening to me that if it is a seasonal depression of some kind, that, well, hell, I don't want it to be on my favorite season. that's kind of counterintuitive now, ain't it?
Yep. And hey John, welcome to the live. It's good to see you here. So we went ahead and started the discussion, Myra, but Danny has questions she wants to ask you because of, you do this as a profession. Uh-oh, she's froze again.
She froze again.
Yeah. Maybe it's her laptop.
I don't know. I feel bad for her.
This is not good.
Hopefully she's hearing the questions, and she can answer us later.
Does my internet connection is unstable? We had a really bad storm go through this morning, so I don't know. I'm not going to try to get onto the chat.
Okay.
So, if you want to see if it helps, turn the video part off and just leave the video off. We'll still can hear you, and see if that doesn't help the connection a little bit.
All right. Let's
try that, because if we can hear you, that's fine too.
I mean, we love to see your beautiful face, but
Yeah, of
if
course
it
we do, but
was,
if
I want
that'll
to have a
help.
conversation with you.
Okay,
Are you still
well, maybe let's see if that does help.
okay?
That
All right,
does help.
Go ahead
But
and
Myra, we were talking about. I don't know if you were able to actually hear us in any of the conversation or not, but we've been talking about, and people in chat have also been assisting as well. But basically, I guess it comes down to a bit of seasonal depression, and we're trying to figure out if that's really truly a legitimate thing, and what people, myself included, can what are some things that we can do to try to work through that now. And when I say depression, and it's specifically in my own instance, I can't speak for anybody else, but I'm not suicidal, I'm it's nothing to that extreme or that extent, but it's definitely affecting my mood, and it's definitely affecting my my want or my motivation to do the things that I normally love to do. And so I understand that that is a form of depression, maybe not, an extreme form, but it is still a form, and I am aware of that. And it's something that I go through a couple of times a year. And so now that I'm talking out loud about it and discussing it with you and discussing it with chat, I'm wondering if it is something seasonal.
Well, seasonal affective disorder is a true mental health issue that's in the DSM-4, the diagnostic manual.
Okay.
Professionals.
Uh-oh, she's kind of breaking up.
Myra, can you use your phone for the internet? See if that's not better. Because we don't hear you at all now.
And we want to
Self-report, basically. You know what I mean? And I know when we were in Alaska as a kid, one of my kids' friends' mom had a tanning bed. And I thought that was so cool. I thought they were rich. They were actually. And I just thought that was the neatest thing. But I later learned that the mom couldn't handle the periods of darkness that they have in the winter there. And she needed that. She needed that light therapy. I don't really know that was the correct light therapy, but she needed that. And light therapy,
Okay.
exposure to bright lights, spending time outdoors really can improve your energy and your mood. You said that you went apple picking, right?
Yes, I did.
Did you feel better after that?
Um, maybe I did. I just assumed it was because of I was spending time with family and getting to see the daughters and things like that, but it could have just been that I was outside.
Well, it could have been a little bit of all of that, everything combined. Everything combined.
Interesting. Okay. So spending time, so trying to get some sunlight in your day if you can. That's something that we can try to do, or that I can try to do a little bit better.
Yeah, and what does your house look like in other rooms? Do you have blinds?
I do, yes. We do try to keep them open as long as it's not too hot outside. But when it gets to be too hot outside, it becomes too expensive for us to AC the house, so we keep the blinds closed. So most of the summer, the blinds are closed. In the spring and in the fall is actually when we open them because it's cooler outside.
In the fall, do you keep them open more often?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, because that's a real big deal, is to keep the blinds open. That's really a big deal. In the wintertime, especially, to keep the blinds open.
Oh, we lost you again.
Oh, breaking up.
Yep, you're breaking up.
Depressive episodes.
We heard depressive episodes. That's all we heard, Myra. You were breaking up. I'm sorry.
Okay, so hormonal imbalance, genetics, vitamin D deficiencies, lack of physical activity, and of course, the ever-present stress, even when it's good stress.
Right.
All of those can contribute to depressive symptoms. And people don't understand, like you said, this is my favorite time of year.
Yeah.
So it's good stress, like Christmas, for those people that are blessed to have family and to have wherewithal to, buy a little something if they want to. It's still stress.
Yeah.
My family over for Thanksgiving meal is so wonderful and so stressful for me. It's wonderful. I love it. But I literally take a Xanax the morning that we're going to have.
I believe that. Yeah.
I also think that sometimes when you're around your whole family in big gatherings, you still feel, or I have experienced this. So there are times when I actually feel all alone, even though I'm in the middle of a bunch of people.
I do find, I don't necessarily find, and again, I'm just speaking for myself, so please take that with a grain of salt, but I don't find that I'm feeling alone so much as I'm irritable. I'm sorry, Myra, we couldn't hear you again.
Hey, Myra, can you try using your phone to log on to Zoom and see if that helps the internet work better? Use your data, or unless you get charged for your data. Because we're missing part of your conversation.
And it's so helpful too.
I'm sorry. Am I back?
You're back
you
right
are
now. Yeah.
I am so, so sorry.
It's okay.
No, don't worry about it. You
fault.
can't control the internet. Lord knows we wish we could sometimes.
Yeah, we can't control the weather or the internet.
No.
But
Neither.
Pescatarian Gardner says, "Wow, I knew about vitamin D, but family history I didn't know. No one else in my family has seasonal depression. If anyone
that you're aware of.
Yeah, that you're aware of. Yeah, exactly. Because I didn't start showing up with depression symptoms until I experienced
mental health.
My first real bout with depression was postpartum depression with my third kid. And after that, when all of the stuff that, because I come from a history of stuff, and when my father passed away, that's when it basically, when he died, it made my whole life turn inside out. And when I went to the doctor to tell him what was going on, they're like, you have this, this, and this going on, mentally. And, I may have suffered from depression as a teenager, only I just didn't know what it was.
Well, and things weren't talked, at least, in my generation. I realize I'm a little bit of a younger generation than you and Myra, but even still, in my generation, and especially in my mother's generation, you didn't talk about things like that. You didn't talk about that. That was always a weakness. People looked at that as a weakness. Or in my mom's generation, there was fear. There was legitimate fear about there being, concerns about mental health because, if there was something wrong with you, you got sent away. You got sent to these scary hospitals and things like that. And, my mom specifically, she had family members, that had very serious mental health issues, not just depression, but actual schizophrenia and things like that. and they were sent away. And so things like that, you just didn't talk about them. You didn't acknowledge them. You didn't admit that you had, a problem, or that there was a problem, because otherwise it could be, there was a legitimate fear that came along with it.
So how is your sleep, Danny?
Oh, I have horrible sleep habits. Horrible sleep habits.
Ding,
I've
ding,
always had
ding,
horrible
ding.
sleep habits.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
So,
No, I suffer from insomnia. I've had that since I was a little kid. And you'd lie awake at night sometimes. And actually, here's the fun part though, is I've actually been sleeping pretty well, like for myself, considering things normally. I've actually been getting a decent amount of sleep since the weather turned cooler. When the weather turns cooler, I have the windows open in my home, and so I the cooler weather, you can snuggle up underneath the covers, and I actually sleep better. So I've actually been sleeping better. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe I'm getting too much sleep. I don't know. Or maybe my body's just trying to readjust. I'm not sure.
Is there such thing as getting too much sleep and it causing mental problems?
well, if you stay in bed all the time, I think that might be a red flag.
I know, but what I mean
is, got a point there. That is true. I mean, I don't do that. I have not gotten to that point. It's one of those where like I'll get out of bed, but I like maybe won't change out of my jammies all day, or like I'll get up and I'll get up, I'll get to the living room and watch TV, and that's all I want to do is I just want to sit and veg and watch TV all day. Like I won't come in here and do anything. I won't go in the kitchen and make anything cooking wise. Poor Mr. Wizard ends up having to fend for himself for dinner because I don't want to cook dinner. So there's just this lack of motivation. Katie said she had a lack of sojo the last time we chatted, and I kept thinking to myself, I have a lack of life, Joe. Let's just
check out, right?
I just kind of want to just veg out and do nothing, and I know that that's not healthy, and so it's like, okay, I gotta figure this out. I gotta get up, gotta get moving. Like I have to practice all of the things that I have been telling you guys that I normally do all year long. I actually have to put those things into use now. I need to force myself to come, take that one step in front of the other. I need to, force myself to put clothes on, change clothes every day. And, so I'm living the things that I was telling you guys, the tips and tricks that I've been sharing with you guys all year round. Now I have to put them into place because I'm at that point in my life, or in my, I don't want to call it a cycle because that just sounds really weird, but in my own maybe mental cycle, maybe of where I'm at right now. And so I have to put those things into place. And I'm with you guys. I get how frustrating that is and how exhausting it is, because just thinking about getting up and cooking dinner, like my brain immediately goes to all of the things that I need to do to get that task accomplished. And it's exhausting just thinking about it. I can't even get past the point of thinking about it to get to the point to start doing it. And so, we have to find ways. And so, that's kind of where I was asking Myra for a little bit of her own advice, because she's had some really great advice for us over the last year about, breathing exercises. And those are great in times of crisis and times of anxiety and things like that. So how do I do the opposite now? How do I stop the breathing exercises and get the moving part of it?
So if you know that your hormones are all okay, you're not low in vitamin D, your estrogen is fine, your thyroid is fine, your serotonin, if you're pretty sure all that's going the way it should be going, and you're still feeling,
in fact, I've just
and you're still feeling all this way. So are you journaling any at all?
Am I journaling? Journaling's never really been my thing. No.
Okay.
No, it's never really been my thing. I mean, I could try it. I mean, I'm willing to try just about anything.
Well, going forward, it might help you recognize and
I'm sorry, you're breaking up again. I was just reading
You're-
Laura's comment about she wishes there was a pause button. I have to agree with you there sometimes. Sometimes I do wish there was a pause button. I don't want a rewind button, just a pause.
So
I think we lost her again.
I'm not sure. I did get it. I heard a so.
Oh, we're having trouble today. While we're waiting on her to come back, let me pesca- pescatarian gardener. What is your first name? She says, "Wow, I knew." Wait, I already read that. She's okay. Now go down the lane. Lainey says also loneliness is bad for deepening her depression. She goes into chats just to watch people walk around like Venice Beach or things like that, and she prays. Let me see. Laura says she was always told to just suck it up and move on. I'm in Katie and Myra's generation. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with you.
Sure.
Get on with it. Yeah, I remember that. No one
I
wants
mean,
to
and
hear
that was a
crybaby.
legitimate.
Yeah, that you were called a crybaby if you tried to voice how you were feeling.
Mhm.
Lainey says, working with my dying family, my mother, father, grandmother, and my brother I was never able to start a family of her own. Oh gosh.
Sorry to
And
hear
then
that.
she says it truly runs in her family, and since she's alone, she really reaches out and she tries to stay busy during the holidays.
Okay.
Um, hi dumpster, or hey Jessica. I don't have to say dumpster girl. She says sharing is caring. And Lainey says being a caregiver this is from Laura. Being a caregiver is really difficult sometimes. She's been a caregiver her whole life. She her 87-year-old father lives with her, and her mom was with her until 2022. Jessica says hi gardeners. Danny, she says Laura says I understand. I wish life had a pause button until I had time to catch up. That's where that came from. Okay.
Yes.
Quintella is Presbyterian Gardner's first name, and I hope I said that properly.
I'm terrible with
Myra,
names, so
yes, dear.
can
there
you
she
repeat
is.
could you repeat what you said a few minutes ago, because we missed most of what you said. She's breaking up again.
I'm not sure which part.
Oh, so we were saying that if all of the we were talking about journaling, and you said that that might be helpful for me to identify the symptoms that I'm going through now, maybe next year or the next time I'm feeling this.
So if you journal the highs and lows over a course of 6 months to a year, you can see the patterns and see what might be triggering that way.
Okay.
I know for me, having an attitude of gratitude, even when I really am not grateful for much, but figuring out something, the skin cancer on my arm was only the basal cell or the other one. It wasn't the really, really bad one. I'm going to be grateful for that. Even though I've got this big scab on my arm where they, froze it to death, and literally they froze it to death. And I'm grateful that they did, because, people have died with skin cancers. So an attitude of gratitude goes a long, long, long way. And I think something that I've had to do since I've retired, and the times when I wasn't with my mom, I was back in my own home, but I knew it was only for a 3-week period. So it didn't really feel like I was home. And I had a tendency to veg out in front of the TV when my husband went to work. Because nobody was there to stop me. There was nothing else. I could do that. And that's not healthy. That is not okay. No. Well, it wasn't okay for me. All right. It's not totally unhealthy to watch TV, y'all, but but I literally would just sit on the couch and only get up to go to the restroom, or to get something to drink or eat. But
Yeah.
and sometimes not even then. And so what I did is I didn't write it out, but I started making a to-do list for myself. When I went to bed, I'd say, okay, now tomorrow I have to get X, Y, and Z done. And not a big
That's a good idea.
XYZ, not a big XYZ. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean a little XYZ.
Yeah,
Alright,
you don't want to overwhelm yourself for sure. So just a couple of things, like I keep saying before, giving yourself that win. So that I like that
Yes,
idea.
that's
and a to-do list
huge.
anyway.
So
So that might work
I've
really
been
well.
making a to-do list, and even if it's a
Oh.
long to-do list, and it's just so it kind of, I have noticed it kind of helps motivate me a little bit. And so,
Okay.
and yes, my craft room is on that list. Is there a check mark by anything in the craft room yet? No, but there's a check
Well,
mark.
maybe just making it into smaller tasks.
Well, but the things on the to-do list has to do with getting me into the craft room. And so, but there's other things on that list, and we've been checking off things on that little list. And I know eventually when we come to where it's us taking stuff out of that room, we'll have accomplished everything else that needed to be accomplished to get me there. And I feel like that's a win.
Exactly. That's
For
huge.
sure. Yeah.
Especially for me, because look how long it's taking me.
Well, does it matter?
No.
No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. I mean,
Some people think it's taking me too long to get this done, but I have to do it when it's not freaking me out.
well, the thing is it going to matter in 5 minutes, 5 hours, 5 days, 5 months,
Nope.
5 years? And some people don't live with you and don't deserve room in your mind, heart, soul, psyche.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah, that's exactly right. They don't deserve.
Yeah, I know.
They don't have that power.
No,
Don't give them that power.
Unless we give it to them. And we're real good about giving away our own power.
Oh,
that's
100%.
true.
Humans are good about that.
Yeah.
I like that idea of a to-do list, though. That I might have to try that.
And the other thing,
especially
because I always have good intentions. I always have good intentions of things I want to accomplish, especially on the weekends. The weekends are ones that are, because during the week you've got your routine, you've got your things you needed to get done, and you just kind of become this autopilot. But on the weekends, I always have intentions of doing things. But maybe if I wrote them down, that might give me more. I don't want to say motivation, but
it's like
it's a little reminder. But
yeah.
at the same time, I need to remember to give myself a little bit of grace too, in that this list shouldn't create more stress for me. That's
no,
not the point.
Yeah.
This is not to guilt myself into doing things. This is to give myself motivation. And so I need to, I got to give myself a little bit of grace too, that if I don't get up that day to do it because I couldn't, that's okay. No, is it healthy? Nah, maybe not if it's just one day, but we can't let that become a habit. We need to, keep moving.
That's it.
I like that.
Quintella says, I think as long as you make some progress, it shouldn't matter. Go at your personal, comfortable pace.
Agreed.
Laura says, Quintella, I'm 61, and yes, we were basically told to suffer in silence. It was almost a forbidden topic. Yes, I understand that definitely. Yeah, and this is why.
And for some, there's still a lot of fear about it. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is why me and Danny wanted to set up a live once a month so we could talk about this taboo subject so that people can feel free, because I don't know about any of the rest of you, but I almost feel like this has kind of freed me a little bit. A lot of people thought that we were going to talk about I think some were skeptical, maybe, and Danny probably will agree with this. A lot of people get skeptical that when you're going to talk about mental, and Myra, that when you start talking about mental health, you're going to start talking about all the bad things that's happened to you. That's not what we've been doing.
No, we've been keeping our. I mean, Katie has been sharing a lot more of her own personal story, not every
not in detail though.
Right, but she's been sharing more of it than I have. But for me personally, I prefer to keep that to myself. So I'm not here to tell you my story. I'm here to tell you how I worked through it, or I'm here to ask you how you worked through it so that I can work through whatever it is I'm going through. That's what this is about. It's not about us sharing our stories. It's about us sharing our journey.
Myra mentioned journaling, and one of the things that my friend Melanie, we had this long discussion right after my dad passed away because I was having a hard time controlling all the anger that was coming out of me. And she says, you need to write. I'm like, what for? She says, you need to write and get it out. And I couldn't understand that concept. And, she wanted me, I set up an online journal through myjournal.com. And she had access to it. She wanted to see she didn't care what I wrote in it. She just wanted to see me get some of what was inside of me out. And it was strange. I balked at the idea to start with, Danny, but at some point when I finally sat down and really started writing, it came out, and I had like 10 pages of stuff. And then when you go back, and sometimes I would go back and read it, and I'm like, oh my God, I said all of that. And at least I didn't say it to someone where I could, hurt them,
Well, yeah, for sure. Especially if it's from an anger perspective. Yeah, for sure. So I'm curious to know how many of our, oh, sorry, Myra.
No, it's okay. Something that you mentioned in all of that, Katie, that I think it would be a good topic also is you had an accountability partner.
Yeah.
Because you had someone looking to see if you were journaling, if you were, they didn't care what you wrote, that wasn't it. They weren't trying to get in your business. They just cared that you were taking steps to have a release by journaling.
Okay.
So with that said, my best friend here in Panama City is often my accountability partner for things like, when I'm here at Mother's and I say I'm going to do XYZ at her house, Jeannie will call me and she'll say, so how's that going? Knowing darn well I haven't done a dadgum thing. Or she'll, praise me for doing what I said I was going to do.
That's good. So Myra, from for those of us who don't journal very often, or those who have never done it before, do you have any advice on how to start? Like, is it just a dear diary, this is how I felt today? Or is there some method or some format that we could, just to get us started, to kind of get us moving with that particular task?
Please.
Of course.
So I still write from time to time on a blog, from time to time. Sometimes I can start with just one sentence. A sentence like, I'm sad today and I don't know why I'm sad, or I'm angry today and I don't know why I'm angry. And then just you go from that and just let your brain kind of starts opening up, where when you make that comment, then the next comment is going to be, well, why am I angry?
Okay.
Or why am I sad? And then you once you get 2 or 3 sentences started from that main topic, then it kind of just morphs out of that. And you may even find yourself on a different topic by the time you get to the end of the journaling, where you started at one topic and found yourself in another part of it. And the idea is just to write and get it out. you know, if that makes sense. And go ahead, Myra. And any of you in the chat that want to answer that question, please do.
I know when I'm teaching journaling, um, to somebody,
I think we lost you again, Myra. Oh, geez,
Yes.
we lost her entirely now. Nancy had a good question. She said, if we have a hard time writing, will recording ourselves talking help?
Sure, I would think so. If you can't write it, but you can verbally do it on a recording, do it like that. And then that's you're still unloading it.
There's also those text or talk to text apps as well that help with things as well. They can turn it into a typing format for you. You know, there's all that AI stuff nowadays. If that's something you're comfortable with, I would assume that would also be helpful. Somebody else mentioned you can record and do a private YouTube channel. That is 100% true. Just because you have a YouTube channel does not mean you have to actually share it with anyone.
No, you don't.
It can be your own private. You can set every single video or audio or whatever you want to save there completely private. That is an option.
That's
And
actually
then
a good idea.
the only person that
actually
can
a
do
great
anything
idea.
with it is you. You know, no one will even know it's there. You can also set them so that people can only access those videos if you send them the link to be able to access those videos. So if, like Myra said, you have an accountability, somebody who is helping you keep accountable for those things, you could send that person a link to that channel. And then that way it's a free service. It's not like it would cost you any money. And it's pretty easy to record it. The only thing that you'd have to do is add a thumbnail, but that's easy enough to do. You just snap a
You really
picture
don't
with
even
your
have to
phone.
do that if you're setting it to private.
Yeah. So I mean, you can. That is definitely a good idea. For whoever brought that up, I apologize. I don't didn't see the name before it
I think it
left my
was
screen. But
let's see.
oh, Robin says they're having thunderstorms again. Robin says Myra's
Joe
not far
did.
from her.
Joe said, Nancy, you can create YouTube videos privately so only you can see them.
Yeah, that's definitely an option. That is something you could do for sure.
And Joe says she actually creates private videos for herself. Yeah, Robin and Myra are in the same area of Florida, so they're having bad weather. So that's probably what's happening
Gotcha.
here. But she did say it was
Yeah.
affecting their connection. Sorry, you guys,
Okay.
we can't control that part. But I wanted y'all to talk. Yeah, that is a great idea. If you don't feel like you can handwrite a journal or type a journal, video it or record it. That Quintella says, so happy I found your channel. This was a topic I needed to hear. Thank you, ladies. Going to run and get some work done. So live discussion once a month, right? Yeah, it's always the third Sunday of the month unless something's going on on Danny's end where we have to move it, but we've only like moved it once, I think, and we canceled
Once,
it.
and we might have to do something during the holidays here. We'll have to wait and look at our schedules. But yeah, usually it's the third Sunday.
Yeah, we'll keep you updated on if something changes, but normally it's the third Sunday of the month. Laura says, Joe, I never considered doing that. That is a great idea. Yeah, see, another idea that you can do if you're reluctant to write, but you'll verbally speak it, go for it. Do it like that. Hadn't even occurred to me.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent idea.
Okay, maybe I don't know if Myra will get to come back or not. We'll see.
We'll have to wait and
All
see.
right. Okay. So I also wanted to. Do you want to say more about this, or you?
No, I think these are all really great topics. I think that this is definitely something that we should continue to talk about, not necessarily right this second, but yeah, for sure. This has been very helpful for me.
I think that she might have texted me. Hang on a second. Because I was going to talk about hold on a minute, y'all. I want to see if that was Myra that messaged me or not. Yeah, she says she's having too much trouble. She says she says please convey that there are websites that will give journal prompts. Google journal prompts is another thing. 3-2-1 method. Another thing is a 3-2-1 method. 3 things grateful for, 2 things to improve, and 1 positive affirmation. You know, speaking of affirmations, I didn't even know what the heck an affirmation is. And then when I went and looked up what an affirmation was, I'm like, I don't even know how to make an affirmation.
Okay, let's talk about that then.
Yeah, because if you think about all I have, the last 14 years are all good stuff that's happened to me. But everything before that 14 years has been bad. So how do you make an affirmation when you have all of that crap behind you?
Mm-hmm. Well, let's start with what is an affirmation, Katie?
Yeah, I have to look it up again. Hang on, because I have to give the actual definition. Hold on a minute. Explaining it, I would do it very badly. Hang on a minute. Let me get the actual definition of what an affirmation is. Because I didn't know what it was, and when I went and looked it up, I'm like, oh, define affirmation. And while I'm looking it up, you guys, what is your definition? What do you define for your affirmation? Define affirmation. Just make sure I spell it right. The action or process of affirming something, emotional support or encouragement. The lack of one or both parents' affirmation leaves some children emotionally. This is a comment that's being made here. The lack of one or both parents' affirmation leaves some children emotionally crippled. Okay, so what is the meaning of affirmation? The act or an instance of affirming, state of being affirmed, the assertion that something exists or is true, something that is affirmed, a statement or proposition that is declared to be true, confirmation or ratification of the truth, or validity of a prior judgment or decision. See, that doesn't even.
I don't think that helps.
Okay, positive affirmations can be defined as positive phrases or statements that we repeat to ourselves. Generally, they are used to manifest goals, dreams, or experience we desire. Positive affirmations are hailed as magic in some circles and thought to be pseudosciences in others. So I guess it would be based on, so if I had to do an affirmation, I could say something like, today I'm not going to stay in bed all day.
Okay.
I mean, if you want, I guess that would be an affirmation, wouldn't it?
I would think so. Oh, wow, we got Myra in 2 places now. We got a double Myra.
It's okay.
I only got 1. You're still muted, though.
You're muted.
But her connection seems stronger.
Yeah, Jaja says it's the same as speaking it into existence. So I guess it would be like, I am going to do this no matter what today. I don't know.
I is pretty, I is smart, I is special. Educated in an American public school.
Yeah, because the first time I heard make an affirmation, I'm like, I don't even know what that means. And then when I looked it up, I'm like, I don't even know how to write that. That would be like me saying I am beautiful and not believing it.
So don't say I'm beautiful. Say I so beautifully. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
I have a good heart. Don't lie to yourself.
Yeah.
Okay? I mean, my husband thinks I'm beautiful, y'all.
So does my husband.
I recently lost 25 pounds.
Oh,
My husband never
congratulations.
noticed. He doesn't care if I weigh 240 or if I weigh 165. He doesn't care. He loves
Right.
me. That shouldn't be hard for me to comprehend, because I have kissed some frogs in my life and really thought that they were my princes, you know,
Haven't we all?
but I saw them as handsome and wonderful because of how they made me feel, or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So don't lie to yourself with your affirmations. And if
Because
you
I
can't
just
find
speak
it,
the
if
truth.
you can't find anything to affirm in yourself, you need to get me on Facebook, and I can find it for you.
Cha says, yeah, that, Myra.
She
Yeah,
said,
I had a hard time doing that because I have a book that says, someone sent me a book where you write. Hang on, I'll just go get the thing. It's hard for me to describe. Hold on a minute.
Myra, your
Don't-
connection seems much better now, so the storm must have passed through you.
no clue.
But it's much stronger now.
Well, good.
Oh, jeez. I am debt free before you're debt free, for an example. Vintage Style by Joe says, I don't focus on things that need improvement. That makes me more stressed out. So I tell myself what I've accomplished. Ooh, good.
Well, I
That's
like
a
that.
good, yeah. Yeah, that's a good one.
So this is a book that someone sent me. It's called Be Still.
Okay.
On the first page, it says, it looks like this. And the first question is, how am I feeling at this moment? Then the next question it has is, what is something positive to take from this moment? Then the next one is there anything distracting me from being fully present? Then on the other page where there's a bunch to write, it says, write it down. Take a few minutes to write down all the thoughts and feelings you are experiencing today. And then the next page, you have this little chart that says, beauty is everywhere. Today, take notice of all the beautiful things around you. In the table below, keep track of the wonderful world you experience. And you know what? I could have fun filling this part out. Just all I have to do is walk outside the door.
Yeah. Yeah,
would be-
you are very lucky in that regard.
Yeah, because I could do this. Then on the other side, it says, who or what am I grateful for today? Then Myra was talking about gratitude. The next one is how can I bring more gratitude into my life? And I have a hard time with this portion. The next one says, how can I better express my gratitude to those around me? The word gratitude, and y'all don't get offended, but the word gratitude is a trigger for me.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to be like, well, how can that word be a trigger?
Well, different things are triggers for different people.
It's triggered because it was used in a negative way growing up. Yeah. You should be grateful you have this. You should be grateful you have that. How can you be grateful when you're getting the crap beat out of you?
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving you an example. And
right.
When you hear this at the same time, this is happening to you, I can't.
It becomes a trigger word. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a trigger word. It's like, you should be grateful you have this, this, and this. And
so can you just
figured out how to get around that so I don't feel, because as soon as I see that word, it's a trigger. Can you hear that word?
Can you replace it in your mind with appreciate or be happy for?
Yes, those two words don't trigger me. It's just the word grateful triggers me.
And that's okay, but you know it. So anywhere you see grateful in that book, cross it out and write appreciate or be happy for. Literally, I mean, physically do that so that you're retraining your mind not to trigger on the gratitude and get sidetracked, but to stay focused on what that Be Still journal wants you to do. I think that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we're on this, because this will help me, because when I see words like that, and I meant to have a discussion about this, because we're all talking about mental health. We talk about different things, and I have strange triggers, and I don't know how to
There's
get
no
around
such thing as a
triggers when it
strange trigger.
happens.
I
Yeah.
agree, Danny.
Everything is a different things are triggers for different people for different reasons. There's no such thing as a strange trigger. It's just a trigger for you.
Yeah.
You're unique, so it's a unique trigger for you. It's not strange. Stranging means that someone is judging you for it, and no one, especially yourself, should be judging you for it. It's unique to you.
That's a
Right.
good point, Danny. So maybe it's me that's doing the judging here, because I call it strange.
We are our own worst judges.
Well, if you call it strange before anybody else gets a chance to, then you've owned it, and them doing it can't hurt you because you've already done it.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes good sense.
You
Let's
need to
see.
shred that,
Nancy
Brittany?
says, you
Why
are
don't you just
beautiful,
cut it?
Katie. Thank you for that comment. Jaja said, because sometimes if I don't watch it, I'll say Zaza instead, because we have two different names that are almost alike.
Yeah,
She
just
says,
use the
I am
kitchen
debt free
shears, so
before
they're
you're
more
debt
heavy
free
duty.
is a good example.
Make sure you cut through the chip and the
then
stripe.
Nancy wants to
And
know
then I
what
always
you're
cut through
sewing
the
on,
member.
Myra.
Nancy wants to know what?
What you're sewing.
Oh.
Oh, that's pretty.
This
Love that
block,
fabric. That's really pretty.
It looks great.
Oh no, I've just laid them out, but it's my very first quilt kit with instructions. I've never bought a kit before, and I went ahead and did it. And and so yeah, we'll see. Oh, so y'all, some of you may or may not know, and this has nothing to do with mental health, except that it really does. And you'll understand why in a minute. My senior class, I'm on the reunion committee. We're having our 50th. Yes, 50. I graduated in 76. I'm a bicentennial graduate. And we're having our 50th reunion next year. And some of us are going on a cruise.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, only 10 of us, only 5 cabins, but I was hoping for 15, but whatever. Anyway, we're going to have fun. It will be nice. But I am spearheading that part of the reunion committee. And because I am, I wanted to make something, I wanted to give little gifts, especially since there's only going to be 10 or 12 of us going. It's not like, big things I have to do. So I found some 1776 and 2026 fabric, if you can believe that.
I've seen that fabric before, yeah.
I'm going to make shoe travel bags. Shoe
fun.
bags. I'm going to make those bags for everybody, and inside, and I'm going to make them out of that fabric because the fabric has a 6-inch repeat, or I don't know. Anyway, I was going to do something small and quick, but I can't because then you wouldn't see what the pattern was. So I'm going to do the travel shoe bags. And then I've also found some key fobs that I'm going to do in black and gold, because that was our high school colors fabric. And I'm going to put that in. I'm going to put in some other stuff. And I found tissue holder pattern. So that was a huge stress. And they don't know I'm doing this. If I don't get it done, nobody's going to know. But, I just want to make it really, really, really special. And so the people that don't go will say, well, I didn't get one of those. No, because you didn't go on the cruise. And lest you all think not everybody can afford a cruise, we picked a Carnival 4-day and we gave them 15 months to pay for it. So
Oh, cool.
yeah, if they had done $2 a week or less, I don't know. Anyway, and
Wow.
there are truly people that can't even do that, and I do get that, but not many in my graduating class, I think, are really that strapped. So there are more than just the 5 of us that could have gone, but whatever, you know.
I think that's a great idea. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. And since you don't have to make that many of them, it's not going to be a huge stress on you. Although
Right.
it is still a little bit of a stress yourself because, you know, you want it to be, you want to do it and you want to make it look nice.
I'm going to do those French seams that I learned about that Katie already knew about.
Oh, fun.
I did know
So-
about it.
You did know, but I didn't. So that was really cool. I learned a new sewing term and I was excited about it. And so how that relates to this mental health stuff is we take on and we stress our own selves. You know, we take on stuff. Nobody knows I'm doing this. I don't have to do this. I want to do this. But it is added stress. It is added anxiety. But do you know how great I'm going to feel when everybody gets them and they're excited about them? And no, they're not going to look like professional bags you bought at I don't know, department stores.
Right.
Because they're just going to be drawstring ones, but they're still going to be something nice as a remembrance. So.
Someone in a bad situation, did you have a chance to pull out your, someone's asking, Denise is asking Joyce if she had a chance to pull her serger out yet.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think there was a conversation earlier than that.
Yeah, I must have missed it. Okay, so let's look at this poll again because the numbers have changed a little bit. Now we have 29 votes and 29% are, ooh, sorry. Try that again.
I'm sorry, what was the poll? I didn't vote.
He says, how many of you feel like you have a drop off of energy or fall into a funk this time of the year? 59% have voted yes and 41% have voted no so far.
No, I get energized in the fall. It's really kind of bizarre because it's so hot here in Florida. When it cools off any at all, I get energized.
Oh, yeah, I can see where that might be helpful because now you guys can actually like leave your homes as opposed to having to stay in your homes. So I can understand where that might come into play. Plus, the travel season is basically coming to an end, so you don't have as much tourism there, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's
no, we have the beautiful snowbirds.
That is true. You do get those.
You know, it's funny about the tourism part. It's like when it gets close to getting ready to start here, I'm like, I really don't want to do it. It's so funny. And then once I get into doing it, I'm okay with it. And then at the end, it's like, oh, what a bummer. No more people to talk to again.
Right.
You know,
that double-edged sword.
Yep. And let me tell you, I did good on tips this go around.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. I was gonna, it was real good. I'm happy with it. I'm hoping everything works out. My oldest daughter's going to be coming here in the summer. Her It'll be Lynette, Eric, and Ava.
Oh my gosh.
Yep, they're gonna come probably in July.
Oh, honey, that's so wonderful.
And so we got a house, we got a place for them to stay for when they're here in this town. So all I got to do now is we need to get us we're going to get an Airbnb for Ilulissat. So I'm going to try to find a house where it's like a 3-bedroom house, and we all just share it together, so that we can go do, because July's a good time to go do the go do the iceberg, the big huge skyscraper icebergs, the whale safari. Lynn and Eric and Nikolai can go hiking over to the up the mountain if they want to. I'll just stay behind and go sit in front of the ice fjord or something, you know. And there's plenty to see in Ilulissat. It's a pretty good sized town too. So I don't know the population, but it's pretty big.
And when is this again, Katie?
July of next year.
Oh, July. Okay.
Yep. Traffic doubles when the snowbirds are in, says Robin.
Mm.
Nancy says it's worse in the winter.
Really?
Hey,
Wow.
Myra.
That's interesting.
I don't really start having a drop off with my stuff until January. It's like right after New Year's. It's like, yeah. And it's not that I spend time. Of course, now the last, what, I guess 3 years, well, since COVID, I guess, the last 5 Christmases, well, 4 Christmases right now, I've not even felt like Christmas.
Mm.
You know, and I'm
Why is that?
Well,
Do you think?
2 of those Christmases, Nikolai was at sea. So I'm I'm here by myself. And
Yeah.
I absolutely am not feeling it when I'm by myself. Now he's home this
So,
go
yeah, I
around,
can
and
understand
I
that.
am going to do my best to consider putting up my Christmas tree this year. I haven't done that in a while either. I just haven't been in the mood.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's I don't know. I just don't know why. I can't explain it. Other than I just don't want to do it. And I miss doing
Why are you
Thanksgiving.
growling at me? Bless you.
Thanksgiving, I love Thanksgiving, but I'm no longer in the States to do it, so.
Right.
Okay, what else do you want to talk about? I was thinking, let me see, what can we talk about next? Do any of you have a subject you would like us to talk about? Please tell us in the chat. What time is it? We've been going an hour and a half.
Denise says 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms for you per the web, Myra.
Nancy says this year's holiday is going to be different with her son and wife separated, so it's depressing her. Oh, I'm so sorry. He doesn't even mention rain. Oh, conditions are rain. So
It was raining here most of the day today.
Yeah. Traffic doubles. Okay. All right. Let me see. What else can we talk about?
Figures
So,
the one time
we
I don't
have-
have a puppy cam on.
So we have the holidays approaching. Do any of you express more or experience more anxiety when the holidays approach? And if you do, what do you do to combat your anxiety? Anyone want to share that in the chat?
A good question.
Myra, are you
I
still
don't-
there? Yeah, go ahead. Danny.
I don't notice any additional anxiety for the holidays that I'm aware of, but I'm sure to some extent there is some. I think being a mother and a wife and, all those things just kind of innately comes with some level of anxiety because you want everyone to have a good holiday and you want things to go well and things like that. So I imagine there's some level of it to some extent. I don't do the cooking in my home. I help my mom do cooking at her house because she has a bigger home than I do. And I know for her that's very stressful. My stepdad's been begging her every year to just order pizza,
I love
which I would
chicken.
be totally fine with.
Yeah.
But my mom puts this level of expectation on herself sometimes, I think. That she wants to, give people this perfect holiday, and I don't think she needs to. I think just spending time together with family is the important part. And I think sometimes we forget that
Yep.
as a society. We forget that that is the more important part. It's not the gift giving. It's not the food. It's just being together.
Well, it was like last night I brought up this subject, and we can bring it up in this today. I was watching a YouTube video the other day, and it was talking about mostly from the American, had to do with Americans and the fact that they work their butts off, just work, work, work. Working is a big deal, and a lot of people don't get enough rest and sleep and stuff to compensate for all the work, or they don't take a day off. And this was mentioned because the Sabbath day was mentioned. Even Jesus took a day off, which was the Sabbath day, and taking that day off was a day of rest instead of work, 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 like so many people do. And your
Right.
body, if you don't get enough rest, or if you don't take time off to relax, it can cause mental issues as well as health issues. And they have a point there. Sometimes you got to just stop and do absolutely nothing.
For 1 or 2 days is probably okay. Any more than that, maybe we should think about moving around.
Yeah, well, you know what I'm saying.
No, I completely know what you're talking about. I agree.
Because some people just don't slow down at all. They just work, 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 and never take time to enjoy what's around them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we all should take time to enjoy at least one day of something around you.
My grandma used to say, you can't take it with you when you go. Might as well enjoy it while you've got it.
Yep. The last 3 nights we've been having northern lights like you wouldn't believe. And it makes me happy because I get to take time to experience that.
That is nice. We don't get to see them that often here where I'm at, although I have been lucky enough to be able to catch them. Last year I snapped some pictures of them, and I actually used the picture from my neighborhood for our After Dark edition thumbnail.
Denise says, yes, I agree on that, Danny. Sometimes we just can't do it all, and some things have to change, should change. Yeah.
Agreed. Mm-hmm. Yep.
When I would do Thanksgiving, I would spend 4 days cooking. And I did it for me and my kids and their dad. Because sometimes we could get his parents over to the house, but I had zero relationship with my own family. And I think the reason I make Thanksgiving so special is because of the lack of not having that family. And I wanted
trying to compensate for it. I can understand that.
Well, sure, and these kids, all 3 of my kids have these great memories of the cooking and me spending 4 days cooking and then sitting down as a family and eating and then things we would do the 3 days after Thanksgiving, like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday was spent, we would graze on what I'd cooked. but we would sit and watch movies together, and the kids would go in the kitchen and make a plate and come into the living room and sit down, and that's what we would do. We would graze and watch movies, and the day after, most people have their Christmas lights up outside around the neighborhood, and we would get in the truck and I'd take the kids around the neighborhood to see the Christmas lights. That became a ritual. That, you know,
Right.
the day after Thanksgiving, that's what we would do. And
That sounds like fun. And you know
Yeah.
what? You gave them those memories. I mean, you know, sometimes that's all you can give them. Sometimes you can't give them monetary things. All you can give them is memories. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Because those are going to last a whole heck of a lot longer than any monetary gift you give them.
Yep. The bot is being busy right this minute.
Is it?
Yeah, it's advertising your channel, advertising Zaza's channel, and it's advertising the Facebook group for this channel. All back to back of each other. Sometimes it gets cluttered up. It's weird when it does that.
Yeah.
It gets
What
cluttered.
bot do you use?
Nightbot.
Oh, okay.
It works okay. I don't have any complaints about it. I turned off everything that almost all the settings are turned off on it, so it doesn't devoice people just because you typed one too many emojis, or
Yeah,
too
I have that
fast,
on
or
mine
you use
too.
one too many exclamation. I think that's so dumb. I don't know why they put them on there.
Well, because there are actually in some of the gaming channels that I follow, there are people that, like, we have our trolls that say inappropriate things. They have
Well, we got
trolls
that,
that
of course.
spam the chat with emojis and things, and so it can really blog up the system.
I definitely have put in words that gets blocked by the bot
Oh yeah, those
because
are
of
fun.
trollers.
Yeah.
Certain things they say.
Mm-hmm.
But I discovered something. If you just ignore them and go ahead and block and ban them and report them, they're gone before we know it.
Yeah, most of
That
them
seems to work out way better.
And using the blocked words really helps too, because a lot of times your bot software pulls it before you can even see it. I know that's happened to me many times just recently, is the bots grabbed it before I have, and then I just go in and block it.
Y'all are quiet. Do you want to talk about anything else? We might be done with the subject tonight. I don't know, unless you.
I was gonna say, I can hear Mr. Wizard starting to cook dinner in the other room. So
yeah,
I probably gotta take off soon anyway.
It's 6 o'clock right now for you.
It's 5 right now, but we do have daylight savings time coming up, so it will be 6 soon.
Oh, wait a minute. Why does it say 9 my time? You're 3 hours behind me, so you should be 6 o'clock.
No, I'm only 5 right now. But like
Did y'all
I said,
fall
daylight
back
savings
already?
time. Not yet. No. Well,
unless
we'll fall back the first week in November.
I thought you were on Eastern.
In the
oh,
spring.
you're not on East. You're not on Eastern Standard Time. You're on Central Time.
I'm on Central. Yeah,
That's okay. Yeah, you're 4 hours behind me, which is correct. I'm like, wait a minute.
I have given up trying to understand the time changes. I just tell people what my time is and make them figure it out. I work for an internationally wide company, and I have gotten to a point where I have stopped trying to figure out what the hell time it is over whatever country they're in or whatever state they're in. And I just said, this is what time we need to be here this time. I'm like, y'all figure it out.
I have to figure it out when I do, because the time differences with me are, 3 hours ahead of Eastern, and 4 hours ahead of Central, and 5 hours ahead of Mountain, and 6 ahead of Pacific time. That gets confusing sometimes.
Oh yeah, I bet. Yeah.
Raven says she just finished getting her split pea soup together. Man, it's been I don't even know the last time I've had split pea soup.
Well, we do not need to tell Mr. Wizard that that is what you have made, because he will be by for dinner. That is
You
his
like split
favorite.
pea?
And that is his favorite. I personally cannot stand it, but that is his favorite.
It's me, but no, I like bean soup. I like making that every now and then. And Nikolai loves it when I make it. Okay, Raven says it was getting cold.
Mm.
Nancy says, I want to thank you for having this time. It has helped her feel better. Good. I'm glad to hear
Oh,
it.
good. See, that's the whole point.
And we want y'all
Nancy, I'm really glad for that.
Yeah. And anytime you want to share something or you need to talk about something, please do. And we will try
Please
to
reach out.
help. Yeah, we will try to help.
Yeah.
Sitting here fixing to cut half triangles for
I mean,
my
I'm not an expert and I'm not a professional, but I am a friend. And sometimes you just need a friend to listen, and I am more than happy and willing to listen if I can. You know,
friends do.
reach out to me on Facebook, reach out to me on YouTube, on Instagram. My email is there as well. You know, any one of those, please. If you need someone to talk to or you need somebody to listen, I'm here to help. Not help, but I'm here to listen.
So I'm going to go back to the poll again. Now we have 31 votes, and I'm probably going to end the poll.
Awesome.
Now, based on from the questions, 61% said yes, they do, and 39% said no, they don't. That's pretty interesting.
I am really happy for those 39 that don't.
Me too.
I'm really happy for those folks. I think that's fantastic.
Since you're still here, and right before we get ready to close this, we've been talking a lot about different things. Is there a topic that we haven't talked about yet that you want to talk about?
I'm assuming you're referring to those of us in chat, correct?
Yeah, those in the chat. Yeah. If there's a topic that we haven't discussed that you want to hear about, let us know. We try to come up with something different each time. Hey, Muriel.
And I will just say again, I really like the idea of that to-do list. I think that is going to come in handy.
Yeah. The list. Yeah, heat up the grill. And babe, can you hey, can you take that out of the refrigerator?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Fog came? Well, that means no northern lights tonight if it stays. Oh, Myra's back. I hope. She's frozen again.
I love her glasses though. They're so much fun.
I know, they're pretty cool.
They're much more fun than the glasses that that Mr. Wizard has. Mr. Wizard has these. You guys have seen them because he's been on my live streams before, but he has these weird goggle things that come down. And they're like this whole headband thing and these goggle things, and then he looks up at you and he's got his glasses and these goggle things, and I'm like, I can't take you seriously. You gotta take those off. Oh, she took them off.
She took them off, yeah. Myra, is there anything else you wanted to add to this discussion tonight?
If we could
Or
hear
is she
you.
frozen again?
She's frozen again, yeah.
Oh, the weather is really being mean. That's the first time I've seen her have internet trouble.
Well, didn't she say she's in Tampa? She's not in her home.
Yeah,
right
she's
now?
a little bit north of Tampa, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe that could be part of the problem.
Let's see. Raven says, I really appreciate that you have this live. And then Joyce says, hi to Muriel. And then Nancy says, yes, I agree. We all are friends. And Muriel says, I don't get a drop of energy ever. I always have a kitten to perk my day up. And
well, there you go.
And Nancy says, bless her heart. Yep. You probably can close that door because my feet are cold. but I can also feel that the floor is warm up underneath Nora's pillow.
Yeah.
The floor is very warm, so the flooring's definitely working. That's why it's so warm in here. Yeah, at least she's frozen with a smile on her face. That's right.
There you go.
Welcome back, Myra. Oh, she froze again.
Crazy. Hey, did you get playing and everything?
All I
Uh-oh.
heard was mine and everything.
Yep. You broke apart again. All right. Let me know. I'm going to tell you what the next date we're going to do the live on, so you can mark it in your calendars. It is the third Sunday of next month, which will be right before Thanksgiving, actually.
Isn't it like the week before? Yeah.
Yeah, the week before. So the next one that we're doing will be on November the 16th.
November the 16th. Yes. She froze with a smile on her face.
And it'll be at 4
Did you
p.m. or 4:30 p.m. like we've been doing.
get my messenger texts?
Hang on. I hear my laptop going off. I just haven't looked. Hold on, I'm going to look.
We did get the ones about writing the journal. We did get those.
Okay, here's what Myra wanted you to know. She says, please convey that there are websites that will give you journal prompts, Google journal prompts. Another thing is 3-2-1 method. 3 things grateful for, 2 things to improve, and 1 positive affirmation.
Yes.
Yeah, just remember that. So think about that. And also, Dani, hang on a second.
I'm holding on.
So I'm gonna share with you guys my to-do list before we hang up. So here's my
Okay.
to-do list, and it looks kind of long, but
That's all right.
this is going to, most of this will probably get accomplished before Nikolai goes back to work. So I put things on here like we have to pull the refrigerator and freezer out from the wall so Nikolai can get down up underneath it with the vacuum cleaner and suck up all the dust off the fans and off the grill
Okay.
work.
Right.
Because these Samsung freezers and refrigerators hate
Mhm.
being, yeah, they will just turn off. Like we've been working on the ooh, and I need to put a check mark by that. We've got the living room just about where we wanted it, so we can start staging it. So I put things about cleaning up, rearranging the living room, hanging a curtain rod and hanging curtains in the living room that we didn't have before, putting window film on the window. We did that.
Look at you checking things off the list.
Yep, that I hadn't checked off already. And then we're going to do something in the foyer because we're going to change our bedroom a little bit so we can put a cot in for Nora. So when I don't want her in the bed, I can put her on her cot. But like I have a list here of reset the where's it at? That has to do with the craft room. But I'm also going to be purging while I'm doing a lot of this stuff. So there'll be things on the list, like when I go through things in the bedroom, things that we may not need anymore. I'm going to purge that room a little bit and purge a little bit in the cold room.
Yeah.
Raven says window film, need to add that to my list. Yeah, we put window film on 2 windows in the living room, so that we can still let the light in. And then I put curtains on this side of the wall or this side of the windows, because when I have fabric in there, I don't want the light hitting it, because we're going to be using that as partial staging. Also, a little tidbit here. We're going to also set up an area where Nikolai can make a train village, and hopefully we'll
Oh,
put
fun.
all the Christmassy things in with it too. And once he gets all that done, we can show it to you. I think y'all will love
That'll be
that.
fun. Yeah, my
Yeah.
stepdad has a train village that he sets up every year.
And I think it would be fun to do that, and maybe I'll do a live where I put up the Christmas tree or something. I know I really want to put up the tree. I might not have anything under it, but it'll be fun putting it up since I haven't
Yeah.
done it for so doggone long. And I feel like it'll motivate me a little bit, maybe. But it would be a great time to do that. Yeah. Okay. So anything tell them about your lives before we hang up.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I had mentioned earlier that I just had a live stream this morning. That's because I do most of my live streams at 10:30 a.m. Central Time. I also do live streams in the on some evenings during the week. In fact, I'll be doing one this week, Wednesday. I'm just going to be doing a Whip Wednesday this week, 7:30 p.m. Central Time. And then at least once a month, sometimes twice a month, I'll do a Saturday evening stream. We call that our After Dark edition because things get a little fun. They get a little cheeky.
Yeah, your
Get a
mom's
little
pretty
cheeky.
funny.
So we call that the After Dark edition. That one is not made for children. Because my mom has a tendency to use colorful language sometimes, although she has gotten much better. But yeah, so 10:30 a.m. Central Time every Sunday, most Sundays, not every single Sunday, but most Sundays. And then we're also going to be I'm going to be adding a bunch of new projects here towards this end of this year that I'm really excited about. I'm going to be doing some Block of the Month programs. We're going to be doing a sew along starting in November. That's going to be a lot of fun. So for those of you who are not familiar with my channel works a little bit differently than most channels in that I get bored with things very easily. So I don't work on the same project every week. I rotate my projects in and out. So when we start a project, it will be a very long time before it's finished because you probably will only see it on the channel once a month, if that. Right now, I think I have 4 going right now, and I'm going to be adding at least 2 more to the rotation. But there's 2 that are going to be coming off the rotation here soon as well because they're just about done. So that's kind of the format for my channel. I like to keep rotating things in and out. I keep bringing different projects back and forth because I get bored with things very, very easily. Sometimes I cross stitch, not always, but sometimes that's something it's not something new to me. It's just something new to the channel that I've just recently brought on. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited to start some of these new projects. We've kind of been working on a lot of these projects for a long time. And so I'm excited to try to start something new. I'm excited to be finishing some things finally and be starting some new things as well. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. I hope we can make some new friends over there.
Robin says she's on her 19th diamond, 13 large and 6 mediums. She's been doing EPPs.
Wow. That's awesome.
She based it 12,000 octagons.
That's crazy.
Whichever.
I just made 84 half square triangles and I thought I was going to go just completely crazy.
Yeah, I have a quilt top where I did 480 half square triangles.
That's too many for me. 84 was too many for me, if I'm being honest. But it was a Block of the Month program that required it, so that's what we did.
So this upcoming week, which will be so it'll be my normal Thursday, Friday, and Saturday unless I'm in too much pain, but we'll see what happens. Like I said, I have a doctor's appointment on Thursday. I'll update you on that when that happens. And then Sean and I do, unless that changes again, we're supposed to be doing that Stitch It challenge that's been postponed more than once on the 26th of October. And I have my crochet live on the 28th of October for those who are
Fun.
following that. So I'll let you know what the plan is for Thursday. So we're probably going to work on the channel sew along that we've been working on. And also, I'm probably going to go ahead and do another 1,000 block on the 24th. Definitely, we'll do another one because I need to catch up because I got behind for 2 weeks. So I have a lot of catching up to do. Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight. Remember to live, laugh, love, and dream, and what do you do with all that? You make something beautiful. And I will see everyone on the next live. Thank you, Dani, for coming. I appreciate you so much. And I'll see you on one of your lives too. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
You still there, Dani?
I am. I am still
Okay.
here. Can't get rid of me that easy.